Hello. Okay. Hand signal. Shaking hands is the most common form of greeting in Africa. It is considered a show of respect, friendliness, and a sign of politeness. With COVID-19 outbreak, however, we've had to adapt to new ways of communicating and saying hello to one another. There is the elbow hit, the leg shake, the fist bump, and so many others. From me here today, I say hola to you and karibuni sana to our first-time viewers. This is Winning Ways, the show that moves you from promise to prosperity and gives you practical solutions for all your financial situations. I am yours truly, Joanne Kamau, saying you are welcome to our June edition of this show. And boy, do we have a show for you. We have a lot of content to share today, and I'm sure you're going to be blessed, you're going to be encouraged, you're just going to be blown away. And let's just sit back and relax and enjoy ourselves. I want you to reach out to somebody and tell them, hey, I'm on Winning Ways. Why don't you just log in and let's just be blessed together as we share. To watch more of our videos and stay updated on all the latest, subscribe and click on the notification button that you can see right before you. No matter what you're using, you can see it. Our previous show was Dreaming in the Dark. Thank you so much. So many of you logged in, tuned in, and we had a lot of feedback from every one of you. We'd like you to reach out and tell us what are some of the things that you have applied since then. Have you been able to put your gifts into a productive and a profitable package? Just share with us. We'll be glad to hear from you as we go on with our show today. So just kick back, relax, and don't be blessed alone. Reach out to someone and tell them, I'm listening to Winning Ways, and I would like you to join. Call your sister, your brother, your friend, anybody that you know that you would want to be a beneficiary of today's show. So let's just get right into it. Our topic of discussion today is disruptive opportunities. Disruptive opportunities. Don't hesitate all through the show to talk to us, interact with us. We want to hear your opinion, we want to hear your views, we want to hear your take on things, and you can share with us on this Twitter handle at winningways17 using the hashtag disruptive opportunities. Tweet, retweet, like, and share the content with as many people as possible. As we discuss our topic today, disruptive opportunities. Now, what does the word disruptive mean? I mean, what comes into your mind the moment you hear the word disruptive? It refers to that which is upsetting, that which is destabilizing, that which suddenly changes the way operations are carried out, and what causes one form of trouble or another. That's what disruptive talks about. Disruption is interruption that cannot be ignored. It's interruption that you cannot overlook. It's not going anywhere. It's there. I mean, you have to face it, or you have to deal with it, or you have to go through it. You just really cannot ignore it. And today, we want to talk about disruption. We want to talk about so many things about it and see how we go from there. Without a doubt, COVID-19 is one of the most disruptive forces that has ever hit the globe. And it's here with us. It has caused so many changes, and it will continue to have nerve-wracking effects, from crashing global markets to affecting everything from air travel to local businesses to changing the way we live, the way we work, and the way we interact. So disruptive is it, this force called COVID-19, that the current catchphrase globally right now is the new normal. That's what you hear. Listen to a news program, listen to whatever production. It's all about the new normal. In people's conversation, they're saying, this is my new normal. This is not the way it was before, but it's definitely the way that it is right now. That is disruption. When something comes in such a forceful way that it actually changes the way things have been done previously, that is disruption. All the same, it's not all bad. And I know as you're watching me today, some of you are like, you don't understand. It has really rocked my world, shaken my world, taken me out of my comfort zone. I understand. I mean, there are people who've lost jobs. There are people who've even lost lives. And I'm not undermining that. All I'm saying today is it's not all bad. It is devastating. It is problematic to a large extent, but it's not all bad. If you look closely enough, that's my point, you will realize that there is a silver lining somewhere in this ominous cloud. Somewhere in there, there is a silver lining taking the form of unique and peculiar opportunities. And that's what we want to explore today. This disruptive force has come. Yes, that's a given. It's interrupted so many things, destroyed so many other things. But there is a silver lining. Can we be able to locate it? Can we be able to find it? Better still, can we exploit and maximize it? What can we do with this disruption? That's our exploration for today. As you reach out to others and tell them, why don't you join me as we just get informed, as we get, educated, as we broaden our minds, as we sharpen our outlook, and perhaps at the end of it all say, okay, I got something out of this that I wasn't seeing before. In business theory, a disruptive innovation is a creation that opens up a new market and value network and eventually disrupts an existing one. That's what in the business world a disruptive innovation is referred to. Something that comes in, a new creation, and takes over the market that is there, changes the value, face value of everything, and actually usurps what was there before. It displaces established market-leading firms, products, and alliances. Disruptors, like what we're talking about, create new markets where they take hold completely of a new value network and appeal, that's the word, to customers who were previously not within that bracket. Let me explain. A short while ago, they did a bit of a study, and I just want to look at one area, mobile games. Mobile games. I mean, in today's world, it's such a thing. I mean, basically every teenager has a mobile game on their phone and so on and so forth. And when they made their debut, the interesting thing that was noted, it was not only gamers, because before we had mobile games, you had these games on what they called consoles, game consoles. But when mobile games made their debut, the interesting thing that was discovered is that they didn't just appeal to the ready market, the gamers who are using consoles. They opened up to a whole new clientele. In 2018, when they did their research, surprisingly, women who there before never went on the gaming consoles were the leading users of mobile games. That's a flip. Before, they were not interested. They were not getting onto the gaming console. But when the mobile games were introduced, suddenly they had them on their phones, and in a way it appealed to them. And in 2018, it was discovered that women are using mobile games more than even men. Who could have imagined such a thing? And that's what we are seeing now. The emergence of new markets, precisely because of the disruption that we are going through. And certainly, COVID-19 is not the first, and I dare to say it's not the last, but it falls neatly and squarely in that category of disruption. What can we do about it? Here in Kenya, a new trend has emerged. It is the new normal to see all manner of cars, including high-end designer labels, lining entire streets for stretches and stretches. And all of a sudden, something that we would never see before the COVID-19 outbreak, these cars are putting out goods, putting out services that we would normally not get from that kind of a place. No longer do you have to go to the supermarket, because basically in this disruption, the supermarket is coming right where you are, and sometimes almost outside your gate. And the best part is you can negotiate the price. When you go to a supermarket, I mean, the price is there. You can't discuss. You can't negotiate. It's take it or leave it. If it's not within your budget, you have to walk away. But now, here is a vehicle parked within walking distance from where you live. They have vegetables, other agricultural products, wares. I mean, all sorts of things are coming out of the boot, or in your part of the country, you call it a trunk. And this is something we would not see before. It is a new market that has emerged because of the disruption caused by COVID-19. And it's very refreshing to get the same things that you would get in a supermarket at a feast price, at a price that you can actually negotiate and come to an understanding. Who would have thought in our wildest dreams that you can buy cabbages out of a Mercedes-Benz, or get sugarcane juice from the boot of a Jeep, or perhaps potatoes from an Audi Q8. But this is the new normal. This is what we are seeing currently right now. And there is no telling how many companies and how many individuals have lost their long-standing clientele because of these enterprising upstarters. This is a person before COVID-19 wasn't even thinking about it. But now, post-COVID or during COVID, an idea has opened up their eyes and they're thinking, why not? I mean, I cannot go to the office as I normally would, so why not take this opportunity? Enterprising upstarters. Under normal circumstances, many of these people would be ensconced in their offices, probably wearing killer suits, killer heels, just doing their regular day job or their dream job, or where they're employed, or where they're running a business. But these are not normal times. They are calling for drastic measures for some people to take out maybe what they had put in the attic and forgotten about. Now it's out here and they are using. Some of these people live alone selling merchandise or products. They were so busy before, they would not even have time even for the mere task of shopping. But as we have said, these are not normal times. This is not the same old. This is not the pattern or the form that we were used to before. Something has shifted. Something has changed. Let me cite another example. It's applicable here locally and also internationally. Something that, well, would not have crossed your mind. You'd not have thought about it before COVID-19, which is the mass production of hygiene and safety gear. I'm talking masks, I'm talking gloves that are, the streets of every nation are awash with people wearing gloves and people wearing masks. This is not something you would have seen previously. And of course, there are those homemade ones, but there's mass production for sale of these things because the situation calls for them. Here in Kenya, we have some enterprising youths that have just risen up. In the beginning, we all had just plain masks, but now there are all sorts of beautiful, custom-made, colorful, delightful masks. You almost want to wear them just as a decor piece on your face, just something as a makeup. Lovely creations. Some are even going as far as branding for companies now, so that you're not just wearing a plain surgical mask, white or blue, but it has character. It says something about you. It says something about the colors you like. It says something about your nature, whether you're vivacious and bubbly. And it took someone to see that opportunity. For example, MC Boo, who is out there just, custom making masks, for companies. And when he shows up, nobody's asking him about qualifications, because right now what we need are masks. And how do we tell this person is from this company and not that company? So right there, he's making a kill because of maximizing in a season of disruption. I just want to say thank you so much for taking time to tune in or to log wherever you are. Don't get blessed alone. Take up your phone, SMS, text, call somebody and tell them, hey, Winning Ways is on. Why don't we log in and just get blessed together and understand what we can do in this season of disruption. Forget the gloves and the masks. What about sanitizer? Even if you've never seen sanitizer, even if you've never heard of sanitizer, in this season, everybody knows about sanitizer, knows its purpose, because it is a fixture. Out of this disruptive time, we all have to be in contact with sanitizer, and it's being produced large scale. The manufacturing is, right through the roof with water dispenser units. These things were neither here nor there before the COVID-19 outbreak, which we are identifying as our disruption in this particular season. But right now, any which way you look at it, they are a major cash cow. Even if I was a stay-at-home mom, probably just, having a great time, raising my kids, but I have the know-how, how to produce sanitizer, I can now, from my home, produce the sanitizer and sell it from my home. And it's going to go, why? Because there's demand. And those who can supply are profiting from that. I don't know if you've heard the astonishing and amazing story about a 9-year-old Kenyan boy. This story is so amazing, by the name of Stephen Wamukota. Really, inspiring, really uplifting story that can just show us that seasons of disruption could have, like I said, hidden, clouds, hidden silver lining in the clouds of dangerous or troubling times. And this 9-year-old innovator, 9-year-old creator, inventor, he came up with a wooden hand washing machine. And his ingenious creation is such that you don't even have to touch it with your hands. You tap with your foot and a lever tips off water and you are able to wash without touching any surface. Right now, we are all about not touching stuff with our hands. And a 9-year-old boy takes advantage of this COVID-19 disruption and creates a hand washing machine from wood. And he was speaking to BBC and he said he's very, very, very happy because he actually got a presidential award. Now walk with me. If there was no this COVID-19 disruption, he probably would not have tapped into his creative side and come up with this wooden hand washing machine. We want to give a big kudos to Stephen, wherever he may be. Maybe you're watching and you know him. We are so, so, so proud because he just captures that spirit of not being overwhelmed by disruption, but taking advantage. 9 years of age. What a challenge, what an inspiration. And we just wish him all the best. And we dare to say, we hope it's not the last thing that he is going to invent. May he get many more presidential awards for his creation because of maximizing disruption. There's another area that is booming. You're watching me and probably you've just come from a Zoom meeting or you're going into a Zoom meeting. Of course, there's also this Facebook and all that. E-commerce is thriving like never before, reaping big from facilitating online conferences and meetings. Goods and services are now being provided large scale electronically. This is disruptive innovation at its best and most basic form. And it is wonderful. It is amazing to see people across the globe rallying and, catching their breath and saying, okay, this has happened. What do we do about it? How do we move forward? And then come up with all these ingenious ways of handling a situation that basically nobody saw coming. It proves to us that good things can come out of hard times. Businesses can be birthed in times of disruption. And my sincere hope is some of the businesses that have begun in this disruptive season will actually take hold, get rooted, blossom, flourish, and not even shut shop when the whole COVID-19 is behind us and, it's a whisper in our memories. We don't remember it. Could there be companies that will still be standing and that they will be saying, I know it sounds funny, but I am so grateful for COVID-19 because out of it, this is what came. And again, I just want to assure you, we are not minimizing anybody's loss or anybody's pain or the very real challenges sometimes of even putting food on the table that so many people are going through. We're just saying it doesn't have to be all bad. Out of this disruption, inventions, creations can come up that transform economic potentials, create new target markets, and unprecedented consumer choice. Like I said, when this whole thing began, we just had plain weird looking masks. But now, colors, shapes, sizes, types, from plastic to cloth and all manner, it's time to jump in. It's a season of disruption, but we do not have to get left behind. So my question is, that's them. What about you? You have logged in, you're tuned in, you're listening to me this afternoon or whatever time it is in your part of the world. Perhaps you don't have agricultural products to sell or manufactured goods. That's not in your line. And under normal circumstances, you wouldn't be doing some things. But since we've already agreed that these are not normal times, how about you bust out your culinary skills? You know, when people visit you, you're one of those people that people just, ooh, and no matter how simply you prepare that meal, they cannot stop talking about it for days. They're like, wow, I mean, you cook so well. How about packaging those meals, those snacks, those fresh fruits, that fresh juice for sale at this time? It's not something you would normally be doing. You've probably been in an office somewhere doing a job you love, because we've agreed we shouldn't be in jobs we don't love. We should aim to be in places that, we give our best and we enjoy. But what about that? You have this amazing skill. You don't need to tune it up. You don't need to dust it off. It's something you're doing already. But you've noticed from feedback, people love your style. They love your take on how you cook. Why don't you package it and profit from it? Maybe you'll go on after this, but for now, when you can't go to your office, why not take advantage? Everyone knows you absolutely love shopping. I know there's someone listening to me right now. You love shopping. Midnight, you can shop. Morning, you can shop. Evening, you can shop. Any excuse to shop is a good excuse for you. Have you thought about packaging it as a service? There are some people, trust you me, who do not love shopping. It is stressful and tiresome, and by the time they are done with 30 minutes of shopping, they are ready to shoot everyone on sight. They just don't enjoy it. But for you, you love it. How about if you collect people's lists, and when you step out for your shopping, whether you're going clothes shopping or supermarket shopping, or you're going to the vegetable and fruit market, and you can do that service at a reasonable fee. You don't have to go out shopping. I'm going, so I'll do it for you. It's a coin you didn't have in your pocket, and you can earn it doing something you love without any additional training. Right now, everyone is down to basics. If somebody, I was to go to the market. If somebody can do it for me and save me a trip, I really don't mind giving them a little tip up there. There could be maybe a mother, a new mother where you're living, and out of lockdown situation, she happens to find herself alone. So it's dicey for her to leave and go and shopping. And you're there and you love shopping. It's an opportunity for you to make a buck that you would not have made otherwise. Other people are absolutely tired of being homebound. They love their families. They love their children. But because they're not used to being at home, right now they're at their wits' end and they want a breather. They want to step out. But who do they leave their kids with? That's where you come in. What about offering your services as a nanny? Just think of those people parking their cars on the sides of the road, selling products they normally would not. So what we're talking about is just taking opportunity in a season of disruption and making the most of it. So yes, you're not a nanny professionally or by training, but here is an opportunity. Here is someone that you know, and you can see that they're clearly overwhelmed. They might not even think about it, but you can tell them, why don't you just go out for 2 hours? I'll take care of your kids. They'll be safe. And when you come back, just give me an allowance for doing that. You're listening to me, and maybe you're wondering, what can I do in this season? Maybe you're this amazing person with kids. That's an idea for you to explore as we look at some of the things that we can do in this time of disruption. I thought about another one. Maybe you live alone, but you have space, maybe a DSQ attached that is outside your house. Right now, people are looking for anywhere, and maybe they don't even want to go far to their regular cyber. Why don't you have a room, just clean room, that somebody can pay to have quiet me time, just away from everybody else? But there are cybers, maybe they don't want to go that far. Imagine if you are the only one in your estate providing that service. If you have the room and you have the space and somebody knows for this much per hour, I can actually escape into that room. Call it a thinking room, call it a resting room, and you don't even have to provide any services, just provide the space. If they want to work on their laptop, they carry their laptop. If they want to read a book, they carry their book. These are just ideas that we can implement in this season of disruption. And who knows how long we have this window. It may be short, it may be long, but one time down the line, people are going to get back to their lives. So it's an opportunity that it has a time limit to it, and you want to maximize on it. Are you really strapped for cash? Guess what? You usually wash your own car. You can wash someone else's for an extra coin, and many other ideas. Tell you what, I would love to hear from you. Maybe there are things you are already doing. Maybe as I was speaking, ideas were streaming in your mind, because we're very creative given the opportunity. I would love to hear your view. I would love to hear your mind. How can we take advantage of disruption rather than getting overwhelmed by it? In a short while, I want to just, read through your comments and just get to hear what you have to say as we continue watching. And I'm so delighted. And I have a couple. I have Kagondo Jr. Great message right there. JoAnne, there is a shift in our ways of life. We may not go back to the old, and that means we need to adjust to the new normal for us to thrive and manage this disruption. Let us remember, it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, I love that, but the one most responsive to change. Kagondo Jr., thank you so much. And you are our first-time visitor. Thank you for logging in. We really appreciate you. I have to repeat that it's retweetable. It's amazing. He says it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Kagondo, I want to assure you, I will use that somewhere, and I will not even credit it to you. I'll just say I came up with it. Just lend it to me. It's too good. I have to use it. We have Precious Eva who is saying she's getting blessed. Keep your comments coming all through the show, and let's just get blessed together. I also want to learn from you, sharpen me. Let's roll out those ideas. And remember, we talked last time in Dreaming in the Dark. Are there some things you've implemented since then? We want to hear from you as we continue. What I'm saying is, and thank you so much, Kagondo Jr., for that, let's be responsive to the change. Change is not easy, I accept, but it also does not have to paralyze us. It does not have to overwhelm us. It does not have to discourage us. We can respond positively even to the most negative force that can come in our lives. Remember, our hashtag today is disruptive opportunities. Our Twitter handle is @winningways17. Tweet, retweet, like, and share this content with as many people as you can, and let them say, the content you sent me, it's just been a lifesaver. It's been amazing. It has really changed me. So yes, change has come. Unfortunately for many, it has cast a shadow of fear and uncertainty, leading to massive job cuts and horrendous financial losses. That's the reality. But there are also inspiring stories that are coming out in this season. And I dare to say, if we are not in this situation, we would not be hearing this kind of stories. In other words, these stories have been, stirred up. These heroes and heroines of our day in 2020 have been stirred up because of some of the things that have emerged at this time. And it's across the globe. Incredible things that people are doing to weather the storm. My question, as you are listening to me today, will your story be one of them? Are we going to hear your story? Are we going to hear about your creation? Are we going to hear about your unique solution to the circumstances that suddenly are upon you? Things that you couldn't have planned for because you could not have envisioned them. But hey, they are here. What are you going to do about them? My challenge is, let's put on our thinking caps. Like these innovative Kenyans, these inspiring and enterprising thinkers that have sprung up in this time. And let's best this disruption that we find ourselves in. So do continue letting us know where you are watching from, where you're logging in from, and share with us the kinds of disruptive innovations that you are seeing in your part of the world. I've shared with you what I'm seeing in my part of the world here in Kenya. Maybe when you look through your window or look in your society, there are things you are seeing in your part of the world that you can share with us. We'll be delighted to hear from you, and we will share them in this show. Better still, share with us what you are doing. What are some of the things that you have embarked on since this disruptive season began? Now, human beings are creative and they are adaptable. That's our nature. These traits are more emphasized during times of calamity and times of hardship. Some time back, I forget the name, I watched a movie out of Ghana of a boy who came up with a way. There was drought in the country, and he was very, very sharp. He came from a very poor family, to the point that sometimes they could not pay for his education. And then famine hits, there's no food, there's no rain, and you can imagine the situation and all the decisions that people make, even to run away from home, looking for better opportunities. And this boy, with his intelligence, I think the boy who made the window, something like that, I forget the name, but he created out of a bicycle wheel an invention that after some time was able to pull water, and there was rain in the fields. Hard moments can be very, very great birthing grounds for innovations that would never have come out if that trying situation was not there. When we yield to the creative edge in us, we can come up with the most astounding, most remarkable inventions and provide lasting solutions to our entire generation. Something that uplifts the heart of people when they hear and inspires them to go out there and do something. So I just want to highlight a few creations. I'm sure they may not be new to all of us, but I just want to think about how the creativity in human beings has propelled the world forward and caused us to be where we are today. Some of the things I'm going to mention, certainly they were not there a while ago, 100 years ago. But somebody, somewhere, a team, a person, an individual, sat down and said, what about if I do this? I'm challenging that creative core inside of you and saying, today we are talking about so-and-so. We're talking about Stephen Wamukota. Tomorrow, we want to talk about you. The important thing to note about the arrival of each and every one of these innovations that I'm about to share with you, they disrupted life as people knew it, before they were rolled out. The first one is artificial intelligence and robotics. Artificial intelligence and robotics. This is when machines behave more or less like human beings. It's no longer the stuff of movies. I remember when we were way younger, we would see these things and it's just the stuff of movies. This technology is so advanced that very soon, if we go by the reports and the documentaries that they're putting out in the public domain, it will be virtually impossible to tell humans and robots apart. And forget about those robotic structures that maybe were for doing services and jobs. We're talking about a robot that literally looks like a human being and, goes about its business in society, goes to the office, goes to the cinema, and so on and so forth. That is definitely a game changer. That is definitely life-changing. The other one is space controls. Reality is stranger than fiction. There was a time we would not even dream about it, we would not even think about it, or better still, talk about it. Now we are doing all these things, but we've taken it another step. We are attempting and we are doing things that 100 years ago would not even have glanced through our imagination. It's like I said, it's no longer science fiction movies filled with UFOs and aliens invading Earth. Right now, it's Earth invading outer space. Research that is currently out shows that it is very, very likely to have masses and masses of people living in space by the 22nd century. This is innovation. It takes technology. It takes systems for us to say, we have now exhausted living on Earth. We want to conquer a new frontier, which is outer space. And we have heard of companies like Virgin that are already taking people out there. My challenge to you is, you are just like those people. There could be an innovation, an invention, a creation somewhere deep down in your heart that should come out at this time. And not only does it inspire, it creates a solution to a problem that somebody somewhere is facing. What about self-driven autos? Self-driven, whether it is boats or cars or what is now very well known, drones. There was a time we did not have these things, but now they're commonplace. To see a car an intelligent car that can speak, it's there, it's commonplace. Drones flying everywhere. And someone was humoring me and saying, nowadays you can do your shopping and actually use your drone to take that shopping home. A while ago, would we see these things? No, but now they are commonplace. Let's go back to the beginning. It took somebody to dream about it. It took someone to visualize about it. And probably they were in a situation that was as disruptive as the one we are in. And they said, I'm done being beaten by this situation. I'm ready to think about something new. 3D printing. Now, this one is fascinating. Totally fascinating. I was blown away. I know it's been there for a while, but sometimes we just take note of the things we want to take note of, and the entire world is advancing and moving. So yes, I'll admit, it really, really got me thinking. Did you know that in today's world, currently, 2020, it is possible to create almost anything only by printing? Furniture, guns, clothes, glass, transportation. These things are now all printable. Amazingly, so is food and, wait for it, body parts. These are all printable because of technology and advancement and innovation. Now, if that is not life-changing, I do not know what is. Body parts that you can use a printer and produce body parts. You don't have to take my word for it. Why don't you research a little bit? You will be amazed at the things people are doing, including icing sugar, including peanut butter, using a printer. It is very, very amazing. And of course, especially in the season we are in, I would be remiss not to mention medical inventions. If you're not in the medical field, you may not be so blown away or amazed by the strides that have been made since time immemorial. But medical invention and innovation has come a mighty, mighty long way. This is very key right now. Usually, scientists, medical scientists, they take years and years to develop vaccines. But in this COVID-19 season, they are being forced to come up with viable vaccines in a matter of months. That calls for innovation in a big way and a lot of gumption, but it is happening. Once again, I'm just saying thank you for logging in. And as we have this conversation, I'm asking you, can you just dig a little bit into your creative juices? You might not only amaze yourself, but the entire world with whatever it is that you are able to come up with in this season. Keep your comments coming. In a short while, I'll be reading the comments from so many of you who are logging in and just viewing and letting us know that you are getting blessed, and also telling us where you are as we watch and log into this show today. And can you let us know what disruptive innovations are springing up around you in this season? It might just be something you've noticed being done differently where you live, or in your country, or even in your company. Share with us, sharpen us. We'll be glad to hear from you. And keep those comments coming. As they come in, we'll be sharing them and we'll be talking. For now, let's talk about thriving in disruption. Now, it's here. What do I do? Listen, not everyone thrives in disruption, because as we've been told by Kagondo Jr., not everyone is responsive to change, because most people do not recognize disruption as a golden opportunity. However, those that do, they have certain common traits that are worth noting. Number one, a positive mindset. If you look around, the people who are thriving in this COVID-19 mega disruption, they all have a positive mindset, even starting with our youngster, Stephen. Maybe others were mourning and lamenting, but he saw an opportunity, which is a product of a positive mindset. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And I'm not just going to survive this, I am going to go through until the very end. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Another verse is Hebrews 13, verse 6, part A. This is what it says. So we can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. One thing I've noticed about people who are thriving in this season and in past seasons of disruption, they have a positive mindset. They have a way of looking at things and seeing the glass half full rather than half empty. Those who create profitable waves during disruption have a can-do mentality. I can do it. It is possible. It may be tough. It may be hard, but guess what? I'm tougher and I can do it. They are up to the task even in uncharted waters. It's a feeling inside of them. I've never been in this space. I've never been in this place, but guess what? I will hack it. I will get through it. The other thing that I've noticed about people who thrive in disruption, they are risk takers. They are risk takers. If you just go back to the example about the cars lined on the streets, it's taking a risk. People don't usually see me in this role. This is not what I normally do, but I'll take a risk that when I step out, it will be okay and I will be received. Matthew 14:29. So he said, "Come." And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. Now that's taking a mega. Who had ever walked on water? Where had Peter ever seen that? It was an opportunity that presented itself, and whereas the majority held back, Peter said, "You know what? I'm going to maximize this opportunity. When will I get another opportunity to be told, 'Come, walk on water'?" And that's what disruption does. It is shocking. Something is here facing you that you are not facing before, but you respond to it positively. Those who thrive in disruption, they escape the confines of the comfort zone with unmatched zeal. I mean, they want to get out of there so fast. While many people are wallowing there, they are comfortable, these people are looking for outroads, not inroads, into the comfort zone. They want out. They are willing to take bold, calculated steps towards new frontiers and establish themselves both as trendsetters and thought leaders, while others are still analyzing and paralyzing. The people in the boat were thinking, how? How do you walk on water? But Peter just hopped right off. Yes, somewhere down the line, he encountered a challenge, but guess what? At the end of the day, he was the only one who could tell what it felt like to walk on water. Are you a risk taker? That's what it takes, a positive mindset and being a risk taker if you're going to maximize in a season of disruption like the one that has the globe in its grip at this particular time. Now, another quality about people who thrive in disruption, they are failure friendly. I'm going to repeat that because somebody may be saying, "No, she must have made a mistake." No, they are failure friendly. Proverbs 24 and verse 16. "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes." Those who thrive in disruption, like you should, like I should, are failure friendly. Surprisingly, they do not consider failure as fatal or final. Those that emerge as leading movers and shakers during disruption are not afraid to fail. Now, I know many of us grew up getting the short end of the stick when we failed, maybe a tongue lashing, maybe a whipping because we failed. But guess what? Failure does not have to be final. It does not have to be fatal. It can be a learning moment. To these innovative giants, these people who triumph in seasons of disruption, failure is not frightening. It is simply feedback. To them, failure is feedback. It is the result of an ongoing experiment. When you ask them, they are like, failure simply means a confirmation of what doesn't work. And they move along. So A is not working. Without wasting too much time beating up on themselves, they move on to B. B is also not working. They don't doubt themselves. They doubt A and they doubt B. And they move on to C. That's something that I have seen with leading movers and shakers. People who, get a name and a face that wasn't there before a disruptive season. They are failure friendly. Number 4, they have a passionate drive. They are self-driven, highly motivated, totally engaged. You don't need to push them, show them, tell them, direct them. It's like they have a dynamo in them that just doesn't go to sleep. Psalm 69, verse 9, the first part, it says, because the zeal of your house has eaten me up. I want you to think for a moment of those, cracking their heads right now, round the clock, to come up with viable vaccines to beat this new strain of coronavirus. They would not, be in this situation. But right now, they are eating, sleeping, talking, dreaming, nothing but a solution to what we are facing right now, right across the globe. They are single-mindedly focused, and they will not stop until they break through. Passion, drive. That's another characteristic for people who emerge as winners in a time of disruption. They seize the opportunity and they make it work and they thrive. And number 5, they are visionary icons. Visionary icons. Numbers chapter 12 and verse 6, this is what the Bible says. He said, listen to my words, God speaking. When there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. When disruption hits, whereas the majority, caves in to, feeling overwhelmed, afraid, and this and that, which is quite normal as long as we don't stay there, there is a group, a core that, talk to me, show me. I want to know what I can do in this season. I want to do something that has not been done. I want to be part of the solution. And out of that, they become visionary icons. They have an unusual ability to tap into what is not immediately apparent. It's not obvious. It's not like up in your face. But they can see through the muck and the mess and see, a diamond in the rough. They can see that unmined gold, and they're very sure if I keep mining, it's going to come out. They see opportunities where others merely see trouble. They see openings where others see barriers. Best of all, they rise up and do something about what they are seeing, and in the process, they inspire others. It's one thing to see. It's another thing to do something about what you are seeing. And this afternoon, I am persuaded that you are the person that I am describing. If you're really keen and search deep within yourself, you will realize that there are innovative ideas clamoring to find expression through you. Listen to me. Don't shut those ideas in, and don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Those who have made their mark in this life are just like you. There was a time that they too were obscure and unknown until they stepped out and let their light shine. Just in a short while, we're going to be reading your comments and hearing what you have to say. But today, I just want you to know those 5 points. Can you locate yourself in them? Number 1, to flourish in a time of disruption, you've got to have a positive mindset. Number 2, you've got to be a risk taker. Number 3, you've got to be failure friendly. No matter what, no matter how many times you fall, even flat on your face, you've got to be failure friendly. Number 4, you've got to have a passionate drive. And number 5, become a visionary icon. It's not enough to see. After you see, what do you do with what you see? I have a couple of comments here that I just want to read out and acknowledge. Thank you so much, Nyadama Wangoi Maina, all the way from Juja. And we have Frederick Kituyen that says, not everyone thrives during the disruptive season. I hope, Frederick, you're one of those who's just getting started up and saying, I will thrive in this season. Doesn't matter how long it lasts, I will outlast it, I will outpace it. And he says, I can do mentality is my portion. I agree with you, Frederick. And he also says, I do appreciate the ever-changing quality of photography and sound. Thank you so much. I received that on behalf of the expert crew that we have on Winning Ways crew. You are amazing. And Frederick Kituyen says he appreciates the ever-changing quality of photography and sound, meaning they are also having innovation in their own right, and they keep getting better and better. Well done, crew. Nyadama Wangoi Maina, my friend is a trained team building expert, a husband and a father. The lockdown caused by a lack of events and trainings. He began a delivery service with his sport bike that has been sitting in his garage. Wow! This business has thrived in exponential ways. Talk about disruptive opportunities. I want to highlight that again. Thank you so much for sharing this. I don't know if your friend is watching. Please let him know that you have highlighted his story. I'm going to repeat in case you didn't catch. He is a trained team building expert. He is a husband. He is a father. So normally he would be doing team building exercises. But with this COVID-19 disruption, offices are closed. So of course, he cannot do that. But hey, I have a motorbike sitting in my garage doing absolutely nothing. So what does he decide to do? He starts to have a delivery business. And I pray and hope that even after COVID-19, if he cannot continue with the business, why not employ somebody and create a line of wealth, a line of job for someone else? And he's been doing this, and his business has thrived in exponential ways. Kathy Mwangi says, very true, be a risk taker. Thank you so much for joining us, Kathy Mwangi. We appreciate you. And she says, I like this. Lucy Gitch, thank you for tuning in. Always good to have you. She says, failure friendly. I'm startup and taking notes. We must be failure friendly. I know that for so many of us, we have been taught to fear failure, run away from failure. I propose today, why don't we learn from failure? Why don't we grow from failure? Why don't we take a step forward even during failure? Thank you so much. Keep your comments coming. It's delightful when you share with us and give us your views. I am so excited. I don't know, Nyadama, if you can let us know his name. That is exactly, precisely what we're talking about. Under normal circumstances, he would not give his motorbike another thought. It's just something that maybe once in a while I get on and take a ride. But now, it's putting food on the table. It's creating a solution. He did not have to go for extra training. He just had to open his eyes, tap into his creative core, and see an entire business that was there before his eyes. And I'm persuaded that you are that person that I'm talking today. Don't shut in those ideas, and definitely don't doubt yourself. Of course, it's new. It's not something you've done before. But instead of thinking I'll fail, why don't you think I'll succeed amazingly? And step out. Make your mark. And you can always be telling people, I would never have thought of doing such a thing. But thank God for COVID-19. Step out and let your light shine. Let your light shine. As we begin now to wrap up our show for today, I want to share with you golden strategic secrets that you can use at this time. Are you ready for me? Number one, adjust. Adjust. Explore and maximize all your options. Because after this show, we want to implement what we're talking about. How do we start? I want to just refer again to this gentleman. He adjusted. I'm a team building expert. There are no teams that I can access right now to build. And there's only so much I can do with Zoom or Facebook Live, because team building is interactive and people need to be there and there are lots of fun games. But he is like, I'm going to adjust. I am going to change. So don't be afraid to reorganize your expectations. 2020, for me and for very many people, began as a bright, hopeful year. I'm sure it was the same for this gentleman and all these, enterprising upstarters that we are seeing all over the globe. But there comes a time you just have to adjust your expectations. Revise your spending. Cut out what you do not need. Think outside the box and take steps such as negotiate a new loan repayment term with your bank. Some of us, you need to approach your landlord and say, hey, can you decrease my rent? You might just be surprised. They might cut off something. It may be big, it may be small. They might waive it all together. Nothing risked, nothing gained. Discuss pay cuts and rotational days of duty rather than job losses with your employees. I know you're an employer and you're listening to me right now. Instead of just automatically assuming that you should fire or shut down the company, what about pay cuts? If everybody in that company agrees to take a pay cut, it's way better than losing a job. And then we can work on a rotational basis so that any given time we just have a slim number of people in the office as opposed to the entire office. These are things that we can do. Investigate how you can make the best use of the resources you have, including money, people, intellectual property, systems, and technology. Some of you are very good at IT, but you don't have an IT job. Open your eyes. Right now, everything is online. Your services could probably be needed. Does someone have your number? Things are always hanging and someone is frustrated. I can't do this because I don't know how to do it. Put out your expertise. Readjust your thinking. So that's the first one. And don't be afraid to reorganize your expectation. Everybody else is doing it. Kagondo has reminded us that we need to be responsive to change. The more responsive you are, the more benefit you gain. Number 2, adapt. The first one was adjust. Now this one is adapt. Be flexible and go with the flow instead of resisting it. No matter how much you resist it, it's stronger than you. And it's here. So you cannot keep on resisting it. Since you can't do what you are accustomed to doing, why not try your hand at something else? It may never have occurred to you before, but it's staring you in the face. Someone who's watching me right now, you are very amazing with, doing hair. You can cut, you can style, you have all these creative ideas running, but you've never applied even a single one. It's the season to arise and do it. It may be temporary. You may drop it as soon as the disruption is over. It may be something you can only do now. My word to you is adapt. Then do it now. And when you don't need to do it anymore, move on. Or it may be something you've always wanted to do, but you've never had A, the time, or B, the opportunity. Now, because of this disruption, you have the time and you have the opportunity. For example, you can develop that profitable online presence for your personal brand, goods and services, now that people may not be in a position to access you like they did before. I'm talking about adapting. Before, we talked about adjusting. You are spending this much, but right now you're going to dial it down and spend this much because you're adjusting because of the situation and you're maximizing on all your resources. This one is adapting. It's something I've never done. It's something I've never thought about, but it's here and I can do it. I want to highlight a number of organizations worldwide that are taking very inventive steps to adapt to the new normal. We have Nuli. It's a Nigerian outlet that provides fresh, healthy food and juices. And they have made arrangements because right now business is not as high as it was before, but they want to retain the amazing employees that have made the brand what it is by their hard work and their loyalty. So what are they doing now? They are packaging food for not only their employees, but also for their families to take that, that edge, the stress off. That is very innovative and very generous too. So we just want to give a kudos to Nuli, that Nigerian outlet that is doing that. I'm sure you've heard of Walmart, and it's a leading chain in the US, and they are out to hire 150,000 temporary employees. Right now, when so many people are losing their jobs left, right, and center, already that is providing a solution to just meet the increased demand that they have. And the application process would normally take 2 weeks. But now Walmart has lessened the application process for prospects, people who would get these jobs, down to a day. That is disruptive innovation. Even sitting down and saying, how do we lessen the time? Somebody has been laid off, but we need 150,000 new people. Let's cut short all these processes that take 2 weeks and reduce it to a day. So within 24 hours, they are giving you a call and telling you, you've gotten this job, you are on board. And can you imagine how uplifting it is to receive that message? Maybe you are in the acting industry and right now studios are shut, but then Walmart tells you, in this duration, we're going to give you a job. That is innovative, and that is dealing with disruption in a creative way. One other example comes to mind, and then we can call it a day. The sharing economy. The sharing economy. You may have heard it, you may not have heard it, but it is a popular business model in China and has been for some time. And what they do across companies and enterprises, they share bikes, cars, portable batteries, and most recently, employees. Alibaba's supermarket called Hema has found itself in urgent need of labor to meet demand, because even with all this, there are some very labor-intensive industries still going on, like the supermarkets, and it has turned out an innovative employee sharing plan to borrow more than 3,000 employees who have been laid off by restaurants, hotels, and movie theater chains. Now, that is an amazing way to provide a solution, to put food on the table, to keep morale up, and to keep people employed while still boosting the economy. And number 3, the last one, the first one was adjust. The second one, adapt. And number 3, accelerate. Accelerate. Do a whole lot more of what you are currently doing. Some of us may not change. We will just continue what we're doing. The innovativeness will come in how much more you can churn out. Maybe you are doing what you're doing in a month. Can you reduce it to 2 weeks so that now you are doing double what you were doing before? Especially if you find yourself with chunks of time that you did not have before due to your busy or tight schedule. Some of us what we can do now, we can only benefit later. There's a lady I know, right now she's writing something that she's never done before, but she finds herself with chunks of time. So what is she doing? She's writing. Very, very soon, she'll have a book which she will publish. And out of this COVID-19 disruption, she has something that can add an extra coin to her wallet. That's what I'm talking about. Think deep, think broad, think far. It may not pay right now, but will it pay, even if it's writing that book? So my challenge to you is write more, create more, study more. Don't fall into the trap of wasting time and lowering your productivity. I know it looks like it's going on and on and on, but what can you do in this season of disruption that has you coming out on top rather than lamenting the losses? And again, I repeat, I know it's been a difficult time. I know there's been a lot of loss. I know there's been a lot of pain. And I know there's a lot of things to get used to, things to think about, think through, contend with, that were never a part of our lives. But hey, we're here now. What can we do? How do we maximize in this moment? I'm looking forward to seeing your comments. Whatever you've written, whatever you've said, I'll be reading it out as we begin to close down. But before we do that, our book club corner. Every month on Winning Ways, we're going to be highlighting a book that we would want you to read, because we are thriving from promise to prosperity and providing you solutions when it comes to our finances. Right up, we have Lazarus Era. My co-founder and I authored a life-transforming book. This book is amazing. And when you begin to read it, it's very practical, very insightful, that is drawn from our personal lives and a lot of wisdom from the Word of God. It's great, but above all, it is applicable. And something to have on your bookshelf, it's something to have beside you, and just to feed your mind, especially at this time. To get a copy of this book, call the numbers that are on your screen, and you can just get in touch with us, as you call these numbers, and we can tell you how to get a hold of these books, and you will be blessed. The next month we'll be highlighting another author. In case it's one that you've read that has been a blessing to you, please let us get to know about it and let us share with everybody, so that we grow, so that we sharpen one another. Recently, I was talking to somebody and they said, well, for me, I may not be innovating, I may not be creating, but I'm learning a new language. Who knows the opportunities this person will have after this season is over, when they start, translating, or they start even traveling, and they are now speaking Italian, Spanish, German, or even an indigenous language from home that they were not speaking before. My challenge to you is, what will your story be when this season of disruption is over, or when any other season of disruption will come? Let's not waste it. Let it not just, go and while away and we are left and we don't have anything to say. Challenge yourself. Be inspired. Listen to what other people are doing and say, you know what, I'm going to tap into that. Learn the language. Others are learning how to cook. They have been offering burnt offerings to their families, but now they are learning how to cook. Others are learning how to dance, tap dancing. There's something you can do. Let's call this COVID-19 a wilderness. Don't go into it and come out empty-handed. Come out with something that you can say, I came out with this from COVID-19. Frederick Kituyen says, thank you so much for the mind-blowing teaching and training session. Thank you for logging in, Frederick. And I am so happy that you're blessed. I'll be even happier if you apply, and maybe in the next show you tell us, this is what I did and this is where I am. Isabella Mombi Minor, I like the sharing economy model. What can you do with it? where you are, maybe in your industry, Isabella, or in your business. How can you apply it? How can you use it? Even if not employees, gadgets, you know. We also have another comment, true. It's not time to lament, but see what opportunities await us within the environment we are in. And we have Jean Mems, who is watching us right now. Thank you so much for tuning in, for logging in, for sending in your views, your comments, and just sharing with us where you are and where you're watching from. I want to believe that you have been challenged, your eyes have been opened, your heart has been stirred up, and you are saying, you know what, I am actually going to see this disruptive season in a positive way. Well, that's all the time that we had for today. Keep this conversation going on all our platforms. And the Twitter handle is @winningways17 using the hashtag disruptive opportunities. I just want to encourage you, tweet and retweet, like and share this content with as many people as you can, especially if you feel that you've been uplifted, you've been challenged, and you have been encouraged. Till next time, from me and the amazing crew on Winning Ways that moves you from promise to prosperity, I want to tell you, keep safe and be blessed. I'm yours truly, JoAnne Kamau.